Hi, Max. It's nice to finally meet you. Thanks for reaching out on Blossom.
Hi Andy, thank you for taking the time to talk with me. I've been following your posts on Blossom for quite a while, and after watching your first two YouTube episodes, I subscribed and I finally decided to send you a message.
I'm really glad you did. So, tell me a little about yourself.
Well, I'm 22 years old. I recently graduated, and a few weeks ago I started my very first full-time job. I still live with my parents, so I don't really have many expenses yet. For the first time in my life, I'm actually able to save money every month. But I have absolutely no idea where to start. I'd love to become financially free one day, maybe even retire in my 40s,
Well,
if that's
younger
even
than me.
possible.
That's a wonderful dream. But before we talk about investing, let me ask you something. Why?
Why?
Why do you want to become financially free?
I don't know. I guess I just don't want to work forever.
Well, we all dreamed of it. That's probably the answer most people would give. But I think financial freedom is something much bigger than that. You know, Max, I think a lot of people misunderstand what financial freedom really is. Most people think it means never working again. Personally, I don't see it that way.
Really?
Not at all. For me, financial freedom means waking up in the morning and actually wanting to go to work. Not because you have bills to pay, not because you have no other choice, but because you genuinely love what you do. Imagine that one day you discover your true passion. Maybe it's teaching, maybe it's music, maybe it's photography, maybe it's painting, maybe it's starting your own business, or maybe it's spending part of your time volunteering to help other people. Some of those careers may never make you wealthy. Some may even pay significantly less than the job you have today. But if you've spent years building your financial independence, you'll have something incredibly valuable. You'll have the freedom to choose. Think about how many people wake up every Monday morning already waiting for Friday, or counting the years until retirement, not because they hate working, but because they don't enjoy the work they're doing. Life is simply too short to spend 40 years waiting for weekends.
I've honestly never thought about it that way.
Money doesn't buy happiness. We've all heard that, and I actually agree. But money can buy something that comes very close. It can buy choices. The freedom to choose the work that gives meaning to your life. The freedom to say, I'd rather earn a little less doing something I truly love than earn more doing something that makes me miserable. That's what financial freedom means to me. Not escaping work, choosing work.
I like that. I think I finally understand why you ask me, why? Andy, I've been watching a bunch of videos lately. Some people say I should buy individual stocks. Others say ETFs are the only way to go. And then there are people telling me I should start trading options right away. Honestly, I don't even know who to listen to anymore.
You know what? I actually think that's good news.
Good news?
Yeah, because you just realized something that takes some people years to figure out. On the internet, everyone seems to have the perfect strategy.
Exactly. It's like every video says something completely different.
So let me ask you something. If you were going to build a house, would you start with the roof or with the foundation?
The foundation. Otherwise, the house won't last very long.
Exactly. Investing works the same way. Before choosing an ETF, before thinking about dividends, before learning about options, you need to build a solid foundation first.
What do you mean by foundation?
First, you want to make sure you can cover your living expenses without having to sell your investments. Second, you should have an emergency fund for unexpected situations, because trust me, life happens.
So you're saying I shouldn't invest every dollar I have?
Exactly. One of the biggest mistakes I see is when someone invests everything they own, then the car breaks down, or they lose their job, and suddenly they're forced to sell their investments at the worst possible time, not because the investment was bad, but because they ran out of cash.
I've honestly never thought about it that way.
Max, the best investment portfolio in the world won't help you if you can't afford to keep it during tough times.
So before trying to maximize my returns, I should focus on building a strong financial base.
Exactly. And here's the good news. At your age, you already have something that most 50-year-olds wish they could buy.
What's that?
Time. And that's exactly what I'd like to talk about next.
So once I build my financial foundation, what should I focus on next?
Your greatest advantage isn't money, Max. It's time. Let me explain. Imagine two people who have never invested before. One of them is 25 years old, the other is 55. Who do you think has the biggest advantage? It isn't about being smarter. It isn't about making a higher salary. The younger person has something the older person doesn't: time. Someone who starts investing at 55 can still build wealth. But if they want to reach the same destination in a much shorter period of time, they often feel pressure. They may believe they need to invest much larger amounts of money, or they may be tempted to take bigger risks in the hope of catching up. You don't have that pressure. You have years ahead of you. You can invest consistently. You can let compound growth work for you. You don't need to chase quick profits. You don't need to gamble. You simply need to start and stay invested. Max, you already own something that millions of people wish they could buy: time. Protect it. Use it wisely. One day, you'll realize it was the greatest investment you ever had.
I always thought I needed more money. Now I realize what I really needed was to start earlier. So, where do I begin?
Most people think the first step is picking a stock. It isn't. The first step is building a plan. Ask yourself a few simple questions. What are you investing for? Do you want to retire early, generate passive income, or simply build wealth over time? Once you know your goal, everything becomes easier. The next step is opening a brokerage account, not because you're ready to invest immediately, but because you're preparing yourself. Then, start learning. You don't need to understand every company in the stock market. You don't need to become an expert overnight. In fact, for most beginners, keeping things simple is often the smartest decision. We'll talk about that next.
So I don't need to find the next big winner. I just need a plan and a place to start.
Exactly. Investing isn't about being lucky. It's about being prepared.
You said that keeping things simple is often the smartest decision. What do you mean by that?
If I had to start investing all over again today, with no experience, I probably wouldn't begin by picking individual stocks. I'd begin with broad, diversified ETFs or index funds. Think of an ETF as a basket. Instead of buying shares of just one company, you're buying a small piece of hundreds, sometimes even thousands of companies with a single investment. That means your money isn't depending on one company to succeed. It's spread across many businesses, different industries, and sometimes even different countries. Could an ETF go down? Of course. The stock market always moves up and down, but diversification helps reduce the impact of any single company having a bad year. For someone who's just getting started, it's one of the simplest ways to begin building long-term wealth. You don't have to guess which company will be the next big winner. You simply invest in the market itself and let time do the work.
That actually sounds a lot less stressful. Instead of trying to pick the perfect company, I'm investing in the economy as a whole. I think I can understand that.
Sure you can. ETFs are a great place to start. But does that mean they're all basically the same? Not at all. Saying all ETFs are the same is like saying all vehicles are the same. A bicycle, a family car, a pickup truck, and a race car will all take you somewhere, but each one was built for a different purpose. ETFs work the same way. Some are designed to follow the entire stock market. Some focus on dividend-paying companies. Some invest in bonds to provide more stability. Others focus on technology, healthcare, energy, or specific countries. None of them is automatically better than another. The important question isn't which ETF is the best. The real question is which ETF matches my financial goals. That's why investing always starts with a plan. Once you know where you're going, choosing the right investment becomes much easier.
So instead of asking, what's the best ETF? I should be asking, what's the best ETF for what I'm trying to accomplish? That actually makes a lot more sense.
Exactly. So let's look at a few different types of ETFs and see what each one is designed to do. But I'm glad you're speaking like a wise person. You're going to go far.
I have no choice but to show some wisdom. You're the one writing the dialogue.
Oops, that's true.
When we started this call, I thought investing was all about finding the perfect stock. Now I realize I was asking the wrong question. It's not about finding the perfect investment. It's about building a solid foundation, having a plan, starting early, and giving your investments time to grow. I think I'm finally beginning to understand.
I'm glad to hear that, Max. And remember, the biggest mistake people make is believing they need to know everything before they begin. You don't. Every experienced investor was once a complete beginner. The important thing is to keep learning. Stay curious, stay patient, invest consistently, and never stop improving your financial knowledge. Because investing isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about making smart decisions over and over again for years. That's how wealth is really built.
Well, I'm looking forward to our next conversation. I have a feeling I've only scratched the surface.
You absolutely have, and we'll take it one step at a time. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe. And if you know someone who's just getting started with investing, share this video with them. Until next time, where you will meet new characters, keep investing by educating yourself. Take care. Before we wrap up, I will never contact you privately on WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook Messenger, or any other messaging platform to offer investment advice. If someone uses my name, my logo, or my image to contact you privately, it's almost certainly a scam. If you'd like to ask me a question, the safest place is publicly in the comments below my videos. Please stay vigilant. I'd like to remind you that I'm not a financial advisor. Everything shared on this channel is for educational purposes only and reflects my own personal opinions. Please do your own research before making any investment decisions. If today's episode helped you better understand investing, consider subscribing. And until next time, stay safe and keep investing by educating yourself.